morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of the Radio, so today we need to take a look at a new EX which is coming out in glory of Team Rocket. That's in Japan, obviously that means it will be in Destined Rivals over here. And also a lovely new Team Rockets Pokemon that might look a little bit familiar if you've been round for long enough. So let's start off having a look at Cetitan EX. I'm just going to go on a limb here and say, I don't think many people saw this coming. This seems like a bit of a surprise. Although Kawaii the artist has done another EX here, they've actually done a few over the last couple of years. And I, for one, am rather happy about this. They did Great Tusk over in Paldea and Fates. They did the Lycanroc, was their first one back in Paldea Evolved. They've done a few of these, and you can see them coming a mile off. They're all very stylistically similar, and this makes me very, very happy. So we like the artwork. Wonderful. Do we like the card? We might. We might actually like the card. As always, I've done the translations here myself, but then checked with the lovely Antoine Boulet to make sure I've not done anything dumb. But I don't think I have, so this is lovely. And what we've got here starting off is an ability that says that when your opponent plays an item or supporter card from their hand, prevent any effects of that card done to this Pokemon. Cool. And there's also 300 HP on a stage 1 is not too shabby. But this is kind of cool, because it means that if you're sitting there on the bench and your opponent tries to use a boss's orders to drag you into the active to finish you off, yeah, that's a supporter card. That doesn't actually work. Anything they're doing to try and remove energy, Crushing Hammer, wouldn't work here. Anything they're doing with item cards or supporters to remove energy, drag you into the active, inflict special conditions, whatever else they might be trying to do, doesn't work, gives you protection. This is a really nice ability. However, it's only actually going to be relevant if it's got a decent attack. Well, the attack here for 4 energy does 140 damage. But you can discard a stadium in play, and if you discard a stadium in play, it does 140 more damage. That's 280 total. And there's a couple different options here, whereby you can play your own stadium just to fuel this attack and then immediately get rid of it. Or you can get rid of your opponent's stadium, and then you've not only done a big KO and all of that, but you've also been able to have a fun amount of time just, doing huge amounts of damage and getting rid of their stadium. That sounds like fun to me. So we like this, ladies and gentlemen. We like this. The big issue, and it is quite a big issue, let's be honest with you, energy cost. It's an energy cost of 4. But it is doing 280, and 280 is a pretty relevant number. Pidgeot EX still gets got here. Obviously, the V-Stars have all gone. They've all rotated out. Nowadays, you really want to be hitting like 320. So this isn't quite enough. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad by any stretch, but I am saying that it's not a key number. Really here, 280, it was a key number back when V-Stars were new and they were the main thing you needed to hit. 280 was the number. Now it's a number. It's still a relevant number, still a good number, still a decent amount to hit. Not as high as it has been. How are we going to get the energy here? Largely, it's going to have to be Batcalibur. Batcalibur lets you attach as much water energy from your hand as you like. This takes a lot of water energy. Add them all together. And yeah, this fits very, very neatly into a Batcalibur deck. There we go. And obviously, we've still got like superior energy retrieval here. So you can recover 4 energy all at the same time. And then just attach them, and that one card will get you all the energy you need, and then you can just sit there and smash. There are reasons to like this. Oh, I should also mention Heavy Baton also actually works really nicely here, because this has a very high retreat cost. Generally speaking, we don't love the high retreat cost, But actually here, because of Heavy Baton, the retreat cost actually works with you. You've got a retreat cost of 4, so if you're active and knocked out by an attack from an opponent's Pokemon, you can move 3 basic energy from that Pokemon to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. Which also kind of helps. It gives you a little bit of extra protection here, because it means that if your opponent goes after your Baxcalibur, we only really need to get the first Cetitan up with Baxcalibur if you can then start relying on Heavy Baton. And then you're not being gusted up, you've got protection from other stuff, you're doing 280 damage, which is quite nice. This isn't a Trainer's EX, which is what we're kind of expecting here. Like, we're expecting all the really good ones to be Trainer's EXs. So for not being a Trainer's EX, I'm just saying, I think there's quite a bit to love here. I'm going to go ahead and give this tentatively between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I think there's a lot to like here. The ability, it's a bonus. It's not a reason to play the card, but it is a handy little bonus. But then when you add in the amount of damage you're doing and the fact that we can actually play around getting the energy on here, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, there is a chance this could actually work. But if you don't want stage 1s, you'd rather play around with stage 2s, might I introduce you to Team Rocket's Ampharos, because this is one that could be a lot of fun. And obviously it's a Team Rocket Pokemon, we can play around with all the Team Rocket stuff. We'll get there in a moment. But what we've got here is an ability that says, when your opponent plays a Pokemon from their hand to evolve one of their Pokemon, put 4 damage counters on that Pokemon, but it does not stack. It very specifically does not stack. Oh, by the way, I should mention the pre-evolutions. Flaffy is flip a coin if heads paralysis, and Mareep lets you go and find an item card from your deck, reveal it, and put it into your hand. They're not great. You didn't get a translation onto Toddle because there was no text. So, okay, it's all about the ability. It really is as simple as that. This is 100% just for the ability. We're not mucking around with anything here other than the ability. And it works on the bench. You don't need to have this in the active or anything like that. Whack this on the bench, and then whenever your opponent evolves up, boom, 4 damage counters, job's a good un. And you know what? This could actually be good. Now, weirdly enough, I said it can use... Oh, the attack's free energy 140, nobody cares. Now, this could actually be good in a Team Rocket deck with various other things, but that's not really what we're looking for here. What we're looking for here is a way to really take advantage of that. So, we've got a couple of Pokemon we've had for a little while. We've had Blood Moon Ursaluna, which, when you put it on the bench, you can attach another couple energy. And then you do 100 damage for the free energy, 2 for the ability, 1 for the attachment for the turn, plus 30 more for each damage counter on your opponent's active. Well, if they've got 4 damage, that's 220. And that's if you've only done that. If the only thing that's happened is Ampharos, that's 220 with your Blood Moon Ursaluna. That's pretty gosh darn good. But we do also have the new Lycanroc. And the new Lycanroc, now the new Lycanroc plays around with spiky energy. And it's got that ability that gets spiky energy and all of that. And I told you at the time that actually Lycanroc with spiky energy, the spiky energy is one where when you attack and the spiky energy on, then you take 2 damage counters. And I told you at the time Lycanroc was going to be good for accelerating the spiky energy to use to attack, but not actually to be attacked into. That's never going to work. But Chomping Fangs does 40 damage plus 40 more for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So with 4 damage, this actually does 200, which is a little bit less than Blood Moon Ursaluna. And it's a stage 1 rather than a basic. But it could also, it does then start going a bit higher after a little while. The point I'm making here is we have got some fun that could be done here. This is a kind of thing that Ampharos is going to be really good for. And for these kind of things, it could absolutely work. And then, of course, there's other things we can do here. Frostlass might actually work kind of nicely here as a little bit of fun, because it's putting damage counters on to Pokemon with abilities during Pokemon checkup, which does hit yours as well. But then, of course, we've got the double-edged sword here of Monkey Dory. Essentially, Monkey Dory can be used in conjunction with Frostlass. Essentially, use Frostlass to hit your Pokemon and your opponents, but then use Monkey Dory to move it over. But then actually, this whole thing I'm talking about here with these damage counters, they can all be moved over with your opponent's Monkey Dory, so be a bit careful. And I've got to mention, and I know I'm not the only one to point this out, but some of you, if you've been around a while, you might remember the deck Rocklock. And the two key cards in Rocklock were a Dark Ampharos that when your opponent evolved put damage counters on the Pokemon, and then a Tyranitar that if it was active put one damage counter on each of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon between turns. Now, we've not seen the full text of Team Rocket's Tyranitar, but we know it's going to be one of the pre-release promos, and we know it's got an ability that drops damage counters when it's in the active. I'm just saying, this seems like this could be good. By the way that deck won back in the day was using Ancient TM Rock to devolve Pokemon. And then obviously we've got TM Devolution in the format now. We've had it for a while ago, since those TMs came back around in Paradox Rift. So I'm just saying, I'm not sure it's going to be as good now as it was back then, don't get me wrong. But I am saying it's weird how they've reprinted a Tyranitar with that ability, and then an Ampharos with that ability. It seems very blatant. And I mean like blatant to the point where I refuse to believe the card designers were not going, hey, let's bring back these old Pokemon from back in the day. It has to be deliberate. I don't see any real way this isn't deliberate. So there we go. Oh, I need to give a score to this one, don't I? A tentative 4 Wassies. I think this one could be really good. I think it's very combo heavy. I think you have to go like full combo or it's not going to work. But I think you could. And I think it could. And I'm a little bit excited about that. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. Oh, and get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Smash Cafe, who's been a supporter for a while now, seems to be very lovely. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.